We Don't Have a Clooney. A SPEC Script for the Disney series Jessie by Giuseppe LiMandri. Music playing. Interior, the Ross's living room. Day. Bertram hums as he dusts the picture frames on the piano. He spends more time on loops.
Even his picture gathers more dust than the others. How can that be?
Mrs. Kipling slithers into the room wearing a cute little hat and holding opera glasses in one of her front claws.
Mrs. Kipling, I'm flattered. Happy to oblige.
Bertram clears his throat and starts singing in Italian an aria from The Barber of Seville. Mrs. Kipling is pleased.
Figura qua, figura là, sono il factotum della città, della città, della città.
The elevator opens in the middle of the final high C, sung by Bertram. Jessie rushes in, followed by the Ross children.
Back already? You guys are early.
Bertram, are you okay? We could hear you screaming all the way up from the 5th floor.
Is Mrs. Chesterfield bothering you again? How did she get in again?
I told all you guys to lock all the doors when I'm not here. Where is that woman hiding anyway?
On second thought, she's definitely not here. I can't smell that hideous perfume of hers.
Dearest Zuri, Emma, Jessie, Bertram was merely singing an aria from The Barber of Seville, to be exact. Rather well, I must say.
Thanks, Ravi. It's good to have another opera lover around here beside myself and Mrs. Kipling.
Mrs. Kipling, still wearing her cute hat, grunts in approval.
Although I must say that the final high C of the aria was not as strong as it could have been.
Do you really think so?
As Ravi nods to confirm his opinion, Luke mocks Bertram with a faux operatic voice while going to the kitchen.
Blah, blah, blah. The only high C I care about is the one that comes from the refrigerator.
Meanwhile, the other children drop their coats, books, and bags all over the living room.
Oh, come on, you guys. I just finished cleaning up your mess. You've been here for more than 3 years and still you haven't been able to settle on a hair color or to teach these guys to clean up after themselves.
You want me to color your hair? Sure. Where do you keep it?
You didn't hear a word I said, did you?
Zuri, Emma, and Ravi in rapid succession, one after the other.
Bertram, what's there to eat? Bertram, did you get my dry cleaning?
Bertram, did you get Mrs. Kipling's crickets from the pet shop?
Bombarded by all the questions, Bertram goes flying by tripping on something on the floor. Luke returns from the kitchen with a glass as Bertram is sprawled on the floor.
Bertram, why can't you take a nap in your room like the rest of us?
I can't get up. I'm stuck.
Theme song. Interior, the Ross's living room. Bertram, still bent in half, along with Jessie, are in the living room. Jessie is on the sofa wiping away some tears.
And that's how I found out it was gone.
Believe me, I can see why it ran away. I would too if I could.
Elevator to the apartment opens and Dr. Rosenthal enters.
Dr. Rosenthal, thanks for coming so quickly.
You called this quickly. I could have been flown to the Mayo Clinic all the way to Minnesota while waiting for him.
Dr. Rosenthal turns around to leave.
Then, by all means, please do.
Sorry, doctor. Please, help me. I'm stuck.
How long has it been like that?
About 1 hour.
Jessie looks at Bertram, grimacing in pain.
More like 2.
Doctor, you don't know what it's like to listen to her for 2 straight hours. I don't care about her pet armadillo running away when she was 9 years old.
And there I thought you were crying because you cared.
Dr. Rosenthal sits down and scribbles something.
Can I be of help?
Who are you, anyway?
Jessie Prescott, doctor, at your services. I'm the nanny here, of course, at times. I'm also the confidant, the teacher,
And very delusional. Doctor, do me a favor. After you're done with me, take a good look at her. It's about time for somebody to figure out what's wrong with her.
Does she ever stop talking?
Never. She blabbers about her old boyfriends even while she sleepwalks.
I do not. Really? I do? I don't mean to brag, but in Fort Hood, Texas, I delivered a baby once.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Does it look like it's going to be of any value in the present circumstances?
No, probably not. Not really.
Right. Now then, you sprained your back.
You think? That's it? Aren't you going to examine me or something?
I guess I could, but it'll cost you more.
Bertram thinks about it.
Well,
I'll pass.
cheapskate. You still owe me money from your office visits, by the way.
He owes me money, too.
Once I can straighten myself up, I'll pay everybody, I promise. I would reach for my wallet right now, but...
Yes,
You
we know
know,
it's
too far.
Dr. Rosenthal opens his black bag.
Do you want a pill or a shot?
What kind of question is that? A shot? Why would I want a shot?
Thank goodness for that.
Suit yourself. Come on, let's get it over. We've got a game of golf waiting.
Dr. Rosenthal offers a pill to Bertram.
Are you kidding? How? I can barely breathe.
I'm not gonna put my fingers in your mouth.
I'll do it. Once I had to wrestle an 8-foot gator back in Corpus Christi, I'm not getting this big.
Fascinating. Here.
The doctor gives the pill to Jessie, who pinches Bertram's nose, who by reflex opens his mouth. Jessie pops the pill in Bertram's mouth and shuts it closed. Somehow, he swallows it.
There. What'd I tell you?
Wow. I could lose my medical license for attempting something like that.
The children return to the living room.
Are these the 4 hooligans responsible for your anxiety attacks and your frequent visits to my office?
The very ones. Watch out for the freckled one. He's the worst.
With all the trips that Bertram has made to my office, I should hug you guys. Unfortunately, he hasn't paid any of his bills.
Do you feel better?
I think I do.
Good. My room is a mess. It could use some cleaning.
Well, did you pick up my dry cleaning or not?
No, sorry.
Did you see my advanced biochemistry book?
And I still don't know what there's to eat.
Bertram is really very groggy now.
Guys, you have about 4 minutes to get him to bed.
What if we don't?
He'll be out and snoring in the middle of your living room for the next 12 hours. At least.
Let's go, Bertram. My heart, but more than that, my ears ache at the thought of you snoring in the middle of our living room.
Interior, Bertram's room. The room is stuffed to the ceiling with all sorts of things.
What in the world do you call this?
A relapse. That's what I'd call it. Really? I thought we had gone through this already. You got all your old stuff back from storage, didn't you?
Just a few things. It's so lonely in this big room.
Few things? This room looks again like the receiving dock of the Bronx Salvation Army.
Bertram falls backwards on the bed, out for the count.
There, less than 5 minutes as I promised. He'll be out until tomorrow. Bed rest until the afternoon.
And how is that different from any other day?
Young lady, by dinner time tomorrow, your butler will be as good as before. I promise.
That's not saying much.
Here's my bill.
$500? Are you kidding?
I know. A bargain for this neighborhood, right?
While Dr. Rosenthal is not looking, the bill gets passed all the way to Mrs. Kipling, who swallows it with a loud burp.
Doctor, while you're here, I was wondering if you could...
Wait a second. Here, call this number.
Dr. Rosenthal scribbles something on a prescription and gives it to Jessie.
1-800-WHO-CARES, spelled W-U. Who isn't even spelled right?
Still, who cares? I'm tired of people squeezing me for free medical advice.
Thanks for nothing. Sweetie, can you and Mrs. Kipling escort Dr. Rosenthal out while the rest of us attempt to straighten Bertram in bed?
Interior, living room. Dr. Rosenthal is walking to the elevator with Zuri. Mrs. Kipling is following.
A monitor lizard. That's an interesting choice for a pet. Is your pet well behaved?
Yes, it is.
I've always wondered what a lizard's skin feels like. My mother never let me have pets like this.
Interior, kitchen. Jessie, Emma, Ravi, and Luke hear Dr. Rosenthal scream. When they rush to the living room, they find the doctor with his clothes in shreds. Interior, the living room.
You told me that your pet was well behaved.
My pet is the goldfish in my room. Mrs. Kipling is Ravi's pet.
Woohoo!
Dr. Rosenthal enters the elevator.
You'll hear from my lawyer.
Dr. Rosenthal, please wait.
Yes?
Jessie gives back to Dr. Rosenthal the 1-800-WHO-CARES note.
Here, call this number.
1-800. Who cares?
That's right, Doctor.
The elevator closes.
Shame on you, Zuri. In fact, shame on all you guys.
What did I do? I don't deserve to be grouped with these hooligans.
Emma picks up a very large book from the floor.
Hooligans, really? Let me remind you that Bertram tripped on your advanced geochemistry book.
Ah, there it is. So little do you know, Emma. Bertram tripped on my advanced biochemistry book. That's an entirely different scientific discipline.
Still heavy enough to make him fall on his face.
Guys, it looks like Bertram will be out of commission until tomorrow afternoon.
We'll be fine. You can do whatever little Bertram does in no time flat.
I agree. Speaking of which, I still haven't got my dry cleaning back.
And I still haven't gotten anything decent to eat.
And I do believe that the doctor's clothes were just not enough to satisfy Mrs. Kipling's robust appetite. Without those crickets, we are all in great danger, I'm afraid. Especially Bertram.
Okay, cricket's coming up. Wait, what am I saying? This is the perfect time to teach the 4 of you guys some responsibility around here.
Responsibility? I hate that word. I spell it W-O-R-K.
Jessie, Let me remind you that laws in New York State regulate underage work very clearly.
Listen, you guys, this is Jessie Land, and whatever I say in Jessie Land goes. Capiche? Gosh, I sound just like Tony, don't I?
The children nod.
I know, I dated him too long. Way too long.
Zuri throws herself on the sofa and hugs a stuffed toy.
Just call me when dinner is ready.
Interior kitchen the following morning. Jessie enters the kitchen littered with the remnants of the previous night's dinner. It looks as if she's got little sleep.
Look at this mess. They didn't do anything of what I told them to do. That's it.
She starts working on a list. The children enter the kitchen.
No breakfast?
Jessie gives one page of the list to each of them.
And what is this? Those are the chores that you and your sloppy siblings are responsible for today.
Oh, come on.
When I return from my share of the chores, I expect for you guys to have taken care of breakfast and for the kitchen and the living room and your rooms to be clean. And I mean really clean.
As soon as Jessie leaves, Luke tosses the list away.
I'm not polishing any silverware. I rarely use this stuff anyway.
Can we have French toast for breakfast?
Without Bertram, how? We don't even know how to boil water.
Ravi, for a brainiac, you give up too easily. How difficult can it be to make French toast, really? Come on, you can help me. And you guys go clean up the living room.
Luke leaves the kitchen, followed by Ravi.
Sure, let's go and clean the living room, Ravi.
Interior, the living room. Luke jumps up on the sofa, offers a magazine to Ravi, and opens another himself.
What is this?
What does it look like? Let's take a break.
A break? We haven't even started yet.
Oh, come on, just 5 minutes. This mess is not going anywhere, right?
True. But no more than 5 minutes, agreed?
Sure, no more than 5 minutes. Anything you say, Ravi.
Interior, the Ross's living room a bit later. Ravi and Luke are fencing, knocking things right and left. The elevator opens. Jessie enters.
What in the world are you two doing?
She attempts to separate Ravi and Luke.
Really? Of all days, you had to take back fencing today.
Luke challenged me. Accepting the duel was the gentlemanly thing to do.
Luke attempts to put the mask back to resume fencing.
Let me finish him off. 1 more minute, that's all I need. 1 more minute.
Ravi tries to resume fencing as well.
In your dreams, you freckled ruffian.
Jessie separates the boys again.
Enough. What is that smell anyway?
Interior, the kitchen. She rushes to the kitchen. Emma and Zuri have burned something on the stove. The kitchen is in shambles. Jessie picks up the pan and the ladle.
Look at this mess. And look at Pamela Anderson and Ladle Gaga. Bertram will have a stroke when he sees them like this.
Jessie walks back to the living room, followed by Zuri and Emma. Interior, the living room.
I can't believe this.
Jessie throws herself on the sofa. Mrs. Kipling lays at her feet. The Ross children scream, blaming each other for the mess.
Silence! I had enough of this nonsense. I need to get myself together before I start cleaning up the mess you guys made.
Exotic Indian music is heard.
Mrs. Kipling, it's your phone. Are you going to answer it or not?
After a couple of seconds, Mrs. Kipling sticks her phone in front of Jessie's face. The kids have resumed blaming each other.
I don't mean to be rude, but I'm not in the mood to look at more pictures of your babies right now.
Mrs. Kipling insists on Jessie looking at the phone.
Okay.
Jessie takes the phone and reads the text.
Oh no. Guys, your mother will be here in 2 hours.
Yeah, Mom is coming home. Mom is coming home. That's great.
Zuri looks around at her brother, sister, and the messy place.
Uh-oh. Maybe not so great.
That's right. Not so great. Look at all this. Your mother will have a fit. She'll be furious with Bertram and especially me.
Maybe she'll be jet-lagged and not notice.
Are you kidding? Mom is a professional traveler. She sleeps on command.
She'll fire me, and maybe she'll fire Bertram too. That's it. I give up. Bertram was right. In 3 years, I haven't been able to teach you guys any responsibility.
Jessie leaves the living room.
I think we screwed up this time really bad.
I don't want Jessie and Bertram to be fired. Especially Jessie, I must say.
Hormonally speaking, predictable, Luke.
What are we going to do?
I don't want them to get fired.
What are you doing?
I'm practicing for when Mom gets home. If I cry, maybe she won't fire them.
No offense, Zuri. You are, after all, the epitome of cuteness, but I wouldn't count on it.
I don't know what epitome means, but what about cleaning up?
Epitome means perfect image. We can certainly try, although I must say, the task ahead appears to be gargantuan.
Zuri throws herself on the sofa and hugs her stuffed teddy bear.
I don't know what garg whatever means, but I'm in.
Ravi, after living with you for more than 3 years, at times I still don't understand a word you're saying, but what the heck, count me in too.
Thanks. Although, coming from somebody with a fairly limited vocabulary, it is difficult to take it as a compliment. For those who are wondering, gargantuan means huge.
Nobody was wondering. Just say huge, please.
This is going to be the end of a perfect manicure. Oh well, Bertram and Jessie are worth a chip nail or two.
Mrs. Kipling slithers into the room, wearing a maid's hat.
Mrs. Kipling, I cannot accept your kind offer, as you are not responsible for any of this. I insist.
Ravi's phone goes off.
A text from you, Mrs. Kipling. How peculiar. Talk less. Start cleaning? Texting as a pragmatic New Yorker. I am so impressed.
Ravi's coat lands on his face.
Okay, I got the point.
Interior, the hall, 2 hours later. Jessie comes out of her room and runs into Christina.
Christina, you're here. I'm almost done. I got most of my stuff ready.
Really? How would you know? I haven't even told the children yet.
I want you to know that I'm not surprised.
Christina interrupts Jessie as the two of them walk towards the living room.
How are you? The children told me that you're not feeling well. Look at that skin of yours. Start using my face cream. This week it's on sale on my website.
Interior, the Ross's living room. They walk into the living room where everything is in order. The children are lying on the sofas. They look very tired.
What happened here?
Is everything okay?
It is, isn't it?
She looks at the children.
Bertram?
The children shake their head to indicate no. Jessie rushes to the kitchen where everything is also in perfect order. She returns to the living room.
I can't believe it.
Christina appears to wonder about Jessie. Zuri sits on Christina's lap.
I told you that she was sick.
Did you guys really do all of this?
Emma and Luke nod.
Guys, I'm so proud of you.
Interior, kitchen. Bertram enters the kitchen. He looks well rested and is amazed to see that everything is in perfect order.
That pill was something else. I haven't slept like that in years. My back feels so much better too. I've to remember to pay Dr. Rosenthal one of these days.
Bertram goes into the living room. Interior, living room.
Christina, when did you get here?
Just a couple of minutes ago. Bertram, you're a treasure. The house looks great as always. Even Luke's room.
Even Luke's room?
Even Luke's room.
Everything does look great, doesn't it?
By the way, Bertram, this reminds me that Mr. Ross wants to discuss your upcoming raise. Things look good.
Thank you, madam. So generous as always.
Raise? I can't even get free face cream and you're getting a raise?
It does seem that somebody appreciates me around here after all.
Christina stands in the middle of the living room.
Listen up, everybody. I have a big surprise. Get your passports ready. We are flying to Milan tonight.
Luke appears confused.
Sweetie, Milan. That's a city in Italy. Dad is meeting the Clooneys at their Lake Como villa tomorrow. We're all invited. Jessie, Bertram, you are invited too.
Bertram and Jessie are ecstatic. Bertram is almost jumping up and down, but the children are almost catatonic.
Careful, big guy. I don't want you to pop that back of yours again. I can't go through what I did over the last 24 hours with you ever again.
Mom, can I spend the weekend at home? I'm really pooped.
What?
He's joking. You're joking, right?
Luke shakes his head to say no.
What about you, Emma? Do you want to go?
One after the other, the children shake their heads to say no. Jessie and Bertram become more and more disappointed with each no.
I'm going to bed.
Wait, Milan, the capital of fashion? Prada, Armani, Fendi, Versace. You love Versace.
Emma hesitates at the name Versace for a second, but then leaves the room.
I've never been to Milan.
Me neither. The Scala Opera House is there.
The Clooney's.
Lake Como, the villa.
I'm going to bed too. Good night, everybody.
After Ravi, Luke leaves the room as well.
Me 3.
Mrs. Kipling, wearing a nightcap, slithers out of the living room last.
Now that's a surprise. Where is Zuri?
Zuri is sleeping on the sofa.
I guess that makes it unanimous then.
About Bertram and me? Doesn't our vote count?
Bertram fights to hold his tears back.
Madam, I'll be delighted to be at your services, as always, this weekend.
Christina leaves the room with Zuri.
Thank you, Bertram. It's decided then. We'll spend a quiet week at home. Come on, sweetie. Let me take you to bed.
Jessie and Bertram weep on each other's shoulders.
The Clooney's.
Lake Como.
I'll never repeat this again, but you do a lot for this family.
It's nice to be appreciated, isn't it? But you know what?
Jessie, just getting over her weeping.
What?
I'd rather spend the weekend at the Clooney!